Hello everyone, welcome to More What the Rust. Today I'm going to show you how to transform this 59 Ford truck from a daily driver into an emergency response vehicle. In my role as a fireman for the state of Tennessee, they allow something called POV, and that's personally owned vehicle. And you can use your POV to respond to calls, both to the station and sometimes to the scene of the incident. But you need minimally three things to do that. You need the firefighter license plate, which I have. You need lights and you need siren. And now I've got all those things, but I need to install them on this truck. This is not a typical response truck that you'd see. It's old, but it does the job. It is my daily driver, so that's what I'm going to do this to. So follow along as I transform this daily driver into a emergency response vehicle. This should be really fun. The first thing I'm going to do is start with the light setup.
For the front and rear lights, I bought this Jorgensen traffic advisor light bar. So I'm going to try that and see how it works. The reviews were good. It's got all kinds of different patterns on the red and the white lights, which is what I need. That's the mandate for this county, is the red and white. So I'm going to see just how easy this is to install. It can be bolted on or stuck on, and until this thing is proven, I'm going to stick it on. The suction cups are quite large and they appear to hold it really well, but we'll see if that holds up to the Tennessee heat. It's very damp today, so of course they're sticking really well. Everything here is mounted up temporarily until this thing proves itself. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these wires back because there's 2 miles of wire for the controller and the unit. And I'm going to mount this unit right under here. I just need this to prove itself for a couple of weeks. The second one is going right here in the back. And I don't know yet if I'll install it low or high, but you'll see how I do it. Probably high, but we'll see. As a temporary measure to try it out, I've got the bar mounted low on the windshield. It doesn't obstruct my vision there at all. And it is viewable from the front, like so. So it's on right now. There is some back glare, which at night may be a problem. But let's look at it from the front. And it's plenty visible from the front. We'll have to try it and see. I may mount it on the grill as well. We'll mount a secondary one on the grill. It really depends on how visible this is. I mean, certainly in the day, it is visible, and combined with the siren, it should be good. At night, it'll definitely be visible. So it's starting to get dark, and I can see immediately I'm going to make some modifications. I need to make some modifications to the setup. The glare off the windshield is it's unsustainable. So since this bar is a no-go due to the glare at night, I picked up a couple of these. This has the shade that I need right here that the other thing lacks. So this might work, but I'm just not sure. This is an old windshield with a lot of curve to it. I'm just not sure. But this is not a waste because it will work really well in the rear window. So I'm going to move that to the rear window. But for now, I'm going to try this out, see if I can get it to mount so that this shield keeps the glare from coming back into the car, the glare from the lights. So I'm still in the mock-up phase, but I've got one mounted here and one mounted there. Got the controller here just taped in place, and the wires, of course, just holding in place. I'm going to try this out at night and see if I get glare in the windshield. I think this one's going to be fine. A little bit concerned about that one, but I think I can take care of that one too. Let's look at how they're seen from the front. So this is how they look in daylight from the front. And this truck sits high, so I think these lights are plenty high. But if not, I've got a little bit of adjustment here to bring them up, but they are bright. It's not coming through on camera, but they are super bright. And the back looks like this. A little concerned about the daytime brightness of the back. I'm sure at night it looks great. In the day, maybe not so much. So my alternative there, I don't want to raise it any higher because where it is now, it doesn't affect my rear view mirror. So I may have to think about maybe some lights in addition to this. Not sure yet. Not sure. Need to see how it looks out on the road. So I'm standing back about 40 feet, and it actually does look pretty good. It's real easy to see, and it looks to be about the right height. So I'm liking this so far. As I walk closer, definitely better from a distance. I'm glad I'm still mocking up and not drilling holes or anything, because that's not going to work. Those suction cups don't stick to the dash for more than 5 minutes. So I really want them there, but the suction cups aren't going to cut it. I've got it up here. It sticks well because it's on the glass, but it's in my line of sight. I can't. That'll drive me crazy driving around all the time with that in the way. So that's not going to work. So I've got to think of an alternate plan here, where I want to put these and how I want to mount them before I even worry about the Siren. With this back one, we're good to go if the glare isn't a problem, and I won't know that till nightfall. But I like where it is. I like how it looks. I like the brightness. Just going to be a question of glare, just like it was when it was in the front. So I've abandoned the idea of windshield lights. They just don't fit the windshield right at all. So in talking to a fellow fireman, he mentioned that he uses a roof bar. Now, that's something I never thought about because I don't want to drill holes in the roof. But they make them today, apparently, with super strong magnets that'll withstand 80-mile-an-hour drives, which is faster than this truck can go. So here's what I've got. It's a box inside a box. Makes it look real big, and it's actually not. That's interesting. So when it came, I thought, wow, that's a good size. Now I see that it's not so big. But that's okay. I'm after brightness. You know, the size of it is of secondary importance. Let's see what we got here. Huh, that's an interesting looking thing. I'll get back to you as soon as I get it out of this package. So this is a neat looking thing. It is small. I mean, this is like maybe 2 inches tall. It's got a mounting bracket here. I assume that's where these go. And these are the magnets / suction cups. And these are supposedly strong enough to hold it on. I'm a little bit skeptical of that, but we'll see in a second. Before I put this on here, this roof has to be cleaned. It is super dirty. So I'm gonna spend a minute cleaning this off. This truck's so tall, I have to stand on a ladder to get up here. And I'll get this nice and clean, and we'll see how this thing attaches. So these magnets are going to stick super tight. So what I'm going to do, get it centered. It's too far to the right at the moment, and then just flip it over. Because the way it is now, if I just try to move it with the magnets, it's going to be a nightmare. All right, it's on there. Actually, it looks kind of cool. Let's see how bright it is. Very bright, and I don't have the protectors off the lenses yet. Tennessee law requires that you have lights on the side as well, so that's what these are for, on the side. Each side has them. and in the back. Now, in addition to the back, I still have this one. So if I flip that one on, and they're both just here with these switches right here, then we got a whole lot going on from behind. Boy, those ones up top are bright. I'm glad they're high up. They're way brighter than the lower ones. Wow. Okay, so how am I going to get the wires in? Well, I have a plan for that. I'm not going to drill any holes in the truck. I refuse to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run this wire down. I'm going to run it in here. This is no longer used. It just goes right here and opens up. So I'm going to take a notch out of the gas cap and run the cord through there and then put some sealant around it. And that should allow me to have a nice weatherproof seal. The cord coming down here, I'm going to attach with some magnets, some strong magnets, probably one here and one here to keep the cord from flopping around. So far, so good. I thought there would be a disconnect in this wire somewhere, this cable, but there isn't. So that big plug won't fit down here. So what I had to do was take the plug apart, and now I'll just put it back together now that it's through. But this is ridiculous. The other two lights I bought, that one there and the ones for the front that I didn't use, both had a disconnect. This one doesn't. It's a different brand, but that is just stupid. That means if you're trying to mount this in your vehicle, they're expecting you to drill a hole that'll fit this whole thing. I think they're expecting you just run it through your window, which is ridiculous, really. So roughed in, it's going to look something like this. Going to have some magnetic hoops along here, and you can see that the cable goes in to the cap here, and it's a nice tight seal. I'm going to put some silicone in there anyway, but I don't think it's going to leak. Inside, we're going to run the cable under the seat like it is now, create a little channel for both of these. This is the back window, this is the one I just put in, right up to here. So I got these magnets off Amazon, and they're perfect for holding the cable. They've been on there now for a few weeks. They don't move, and they've held it really well. Next up is the Siren, and I went with this lampfest sound alert. I don't have any experience with it, but the reviews were good, and it's supposedly nice and loud. But I have to find a home for this under my dash. This box is bigger than I thought it would be, and my air conditioner is right in the way. I can't put it there. The gas pedal's right there. Where am I going to put this thing? Can't put it over here. E-brake is there, and the fuse box and all that jazz. You know, on the big trucks, you mount them up high, like up there. And maybe that's what I need to do here, is mount it way up here. That makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. I could run the wires up through here, and you'd never see them. But putting it up here really gets it out of the way, and I could mount the mic here as well. This mic here is for a PA that honestly I will never use, but I couldn't find a reasonably priced system without it, so I'll just leave it. So I'm going to look at whether I can put it here or not with the mounting bracket. I like that the most out of my options right now. Worst case, if that doesn't work, maybe I'll mount it to the floor in front of the shifter. We'll see. In order to mount the unit straight up, I had to make some brackets, but I think these are going to work really well. It's got an L shape there. That's where I'll bolt to the floor, and it'll hold it up above the floor enough so that the wiring below is not compromised. So I've got the brackets on each side built. Now I'm going to temporarily wire it up and then bolt it down. So this thing will sit about this high, which I think is about perfect. And that's what we ended up with. It's mounted straight up and down to the floor with those brackets that I put together. It's held in really well, and I like it. It's just the right height, right about seat level, easy to grab. I don't even have to look down, which is important to operate it. So this works very well. This is the speaker for the Siren setup, and it is heavy, way heavier than it looks. So I found some existing holes in the fender well here that I could utilize. This one was here, and this one and this one had a dimple already in place for a hole to be drilled, and believe it or not, it fits. So I've got the speaker now in place. It's high enough, and it's got a little vent here for the sound, so it should be quite audible from outside the rig. Recently, I was at a fire scene. I was the first one to arrive just as the fire started. And I could have used a fire extinguisher, maybe to put the fire out. It was a car fire. So I want to put one in here. It's going to have to be small. There's just not enough room in here for something larger. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to put a 1A 10BC right here. It's about the only place I can fit anything. Now, that's a small fire extinguisher, but it's about all I can fit, and it's better than nothing. And there we are. I like it. It's out of the way. I've got some weather stripping behind it to keep it from rattling, which it does not. I have a little bit on the bracket itself to keep the handle from rattling. So this looks good, and for sure it's the biggest I could fit. So I'm happy with it. Hard to believe, but this truck is going to also be a part of my transformation to an emergency response truck. This thing is a factory 4x4 59 Ford custom cab. Really an incredible truck in its day. No self-respecting response truck would have a regular bumper, but we need a push bumper. My bumper is pretty nice, pretty straight, but this is a custom-made job from way back in the 60s. It came off of a 59 4x4, and it's super cool, but it looks terrible the way it is. So I'm using a flap disc to get it a bit smoother. The idea here is not to make this perfect. It's not going to be perfect. But I need to get it better than it is so that then I can paint it. I'm going to paint it a flat white, similar to what I've got already as a bumper and grille color. But I've got a lot of work to do. This thing is rough. And this part does not unbolt. It's welded in. So I'm going to have to work within the confines of what I've got. So let's see. This is a 120 flap disc. Let's see how it does on this crappy paint. We're gonna have to get better. We're gonna have to get better than 120 for that. It's not really taking it off. But that's okay. I've got various grits. So I'm going to get started on this. I think the 120 is good for this surface because it's not too bad. It's not nearly as pitted. But even if not, then I'll go to something a little more aggressive. So I moved on to two stripping methods. Still going with the flap disc, but also going with the scaler. The scale is great for going around bolts, and for this piece here, it's, you know, these corners in here and such, it's great for that. It's good for these corners like that. So it's going to take a combination of both. As expected, this is a fair amount of work, but I'm almost there. And then I'm going to hit it with some rust encapsulating spray before I finish it up. So I've got the entire grill, bumper and grill guard stripped and painted with rusty metal primer. I forgot to get any footage of it stripped, sorry about that. But I think you get the idea. It came out pretty smooth. The primer's not dry, so you'll see like streaks like that. That's just because the primer isn't dry. But there's a few spots that, obviously this plate in front is very rough. But overall, I'm very happy with how smooth it came out. I think the flat white is going to look really good on it. It feels good to have this done. It's been hanging over my head for a while because it's a big job, especially in this heat. There's just so many small pieces and crevices to this thing. I also was able to straighten out the middle bar. It was bent, now it's straight. And one of these side bars was badly bent. I straightened out, I think it might be that one, so it looks like I need to pull it in, but at least now it's straight. It's the next day and it's time to paint. Do I use satin or do I use flat? I'm not really sure. So I got both. I'm going to try a piece side by side and let's see how they look. They're dry. Not a whole lot of difference. This is the satin and it does have just a little bit of shine to it. And this is the flat. So I'm trying to determine which one hides the imperfections in the bumper better. And as you can imagine, something with no shine does a little better job. So I think I'm going to go with the flat. Yeah, I'm going to go with the flat. See how I like it. I can always cover it up later with the satin. It's done. Unfortunately, it got rained on, so it's a little bit dirty, but it came out really good. It took about a can of paint to do this. Started off with satin and then just covered it with flat. And I'm really happy with how it came out. It's much smoother than I expected. I can't see putting this grill guard nice and clean on a really crappy grill. So just doing a real quick touch-up job on the grill. Doing exactly what I did with the grill guard, covering it with satin first and then black on top. The only reason I'm doing that is because I've only got 2 cans. So I'm using up the satin as the base coat and then hitting it with the flat, which I'm running low on for the final coat. Seems to be working okay. It certainly worked out well on that. Quick tip, stay away from the Amazon masking tape. This stuff is terrible. Look at how it's peeling up. I've had to fortify it with some scotch. And it wasn't cheap, but it's cheaper than the scotch and the 3M, and I cheaped out and shouldn't have. It's crap. 2 coats of satin are on it. I think it's ready for the 1 coat of flat as soon as this flashes over in a couple of minutes. Looks a lot better. Hopefully that comes through on camera. To prep the surface, I just hit it with 400 because I wasn't looking for perfection. If it was perfectly smooth, it wouldn't look like the grill guard, number 1, and number 2, it wouldn't look like the rest of the truck. I left the front bumper alone, of course, because it's getting swapped with that one. And then I just followed it up with glass cleaner and alcohol. And that's all I need to do to prepare a finish for paint. I've never had a problem with those two as a combination. Glass cleaner removes the dirt, the alcohol removes everything else. And it's cheap. Old bumper, ready to come off. Look at that. That was easy. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I think we're gonna rest that side of the bumper on that stand, and I'll just kind of lay it in place and then get under there and put the bolts in. I hope everything lines up. You never know with these old bumpers, but it looks like it should. So we're part way there. What do you think?
I think it looks cool. It looks tough. We're still working on lining this up. You know, 2 trucks that old with a homemade bumper, things don't line up perfectly first shot, but we're close. We've got what? Out of the 6 bolts, we've got 4 in? 5? 5.
There were 8, I believe.
There's 8?
And I think we have 2.
Yeah,
3
we got
left.
8. Yep.
Yeah.
So we got 3 or 4 left. Okay, so this is how it's going to look anyway. I'm liking it so far. It's on. This is the last piece of the conversion to the emergency vehicle. It's very dirty, but I'll clean it up. There's a couple other things I'm thinking about doing. One is to put a box in the bed for my equipment and my jacket and such. And the second is a little mount for my CPR kit, which I may or may not do. But the basics are here. It's now been converted to an emergency response vehicle, and I'm pretty excited about it. Just occurred to me, I haven't actually shown you the lights or let you hear the siren. So let's do that. That's the finished project on the lights. Now I can change that look. Just with a little toggle in here, I can make it do different patterns. So there's a pattern. There's a pattern. So I can just toggle through the different patterns, which is pretty cool. So we also have the siren. So this is a multi-function deal. So I'm going to cut these off and turn the siren on. It's got a volume control, so I'm not going to keep it super loud because I don't want to wake the neighbors up. But the horn.
Can you do both?
Do both what? Lights and siren?
Yeah, for the effect.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, and beep your horn at the same time.
So that, folks, is how it looks now and how it sounds now. I had the volume super low. It does go a lot higher and it does the job. I hope you liked this little video of this conversion. I thought it'd be good to do it and share it with you all because it might be of interest. There aren't many firefighters out there using a vehicle like this to go to the station or maybe to go on scene. And it is pretty cool when I pull up in this thing. It's not common. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.